There's so much different ways you can make money from content. You can make money just from actually posting and the platforms paying you. You can do it with affiliates. You can do it with brand partnerships. And I think kind of diversifying is the best way, especially as someone who works for yourself. It can be a little bit terrifying to be like, if I don't make anything next month, how am I going to pay my mortgage? That can be a little scary.
And to piggyback on that, I think there's the concept of the social media channels. We're renters there. We don't own that. So I think it's really important for anyone that wants to do this for a full-time income eventually. It's important to own some channels, whether it's just a newsletter or a website or both. I think that that's really important, like you said, diversifying, but also putting some of that into a channel that you own.
That was Melissa Ashley Meares, a DIY home decor influencer and music studio owner, and Allison Skiff, a corporate partnerships professional in the sports industry. While their career paths started in different places, Melissa in music education and Allison in photography and brand partnerships, they've both found a shared passion in the world of DIY home decor. Today, they're here to talk about how they've turned their creative outlets into thriving online communities. In this episode, they'll discuss their unexpected paths to becoming influencers, how they've navigated the ever-changing world of social media, and the importance of diversifying income streams in the digital age. From estate sale finds to DIY home projects, Allison and Melissa share their insights on building a brand, engaging with followers, and the challenges of balancing creativity with business. Allison Skiff and Melissa Ashley Meares, welcome to Artisanal Insights.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
I am so excited to be having this conversation with you both because while I've known both of you for quite some time, the two of you had never met until today, which is awesome. So I'm really thrilled that this is happening. Allison, I'll start with you because we've literally known each other since we were kids. We grew up together in a small town, northwestern Pennsylvania, went to the same high school. Like, heck, our grandmothers were really good friends. Your grandma was my mom's piano teacher. Like, we could tell stories all day. In fact, we were before we hit the record button. So let's start with the obvious question. How'd you end up in Nashville?
Oh, wow. Well, I'll try to be succinct. I ended up moving out to LA right out of college and found myself a job in the music industry. And that job brought me to Nashville. And it's just been love ever since. It was just the perfect combination of the small town that I grew up in and then the big city of LA. Perfect blend, and also geographically too. So yeah, I've been here since 2007.
Wow. So you got here before I did. I didn't realize that. That's interesting. Okay, because I moved down in 2010. And so we've seen Nashville go through a lot since then.
Yeah.
What's kept you here other than, work?
I love the non-harsh winters.
Amen to that.
My jobs, the different jobs I've had since I've lived here have definitely kept me here. And then the community as well. I've made some really amazing friends that I consider family at this point. So yeah, a whole bunch of different things.
Yeah. That's kind of what kept me here too. And I don't miss snow one iota at all. Where we grew up, like close to 200 inches of snow a winter, like it was no joke.
You had to change your tires for the snow.
You did have to change your tires for the snow. I don't miss that at all.
No.
So Melissa, we've also known each other for a really long time, although not as long as Allison. But we met like almost a decade ago, which I can't believe.
It's crazy.
Do you want to explain how we met each other?
Yeah, when I was in grad school at Vanderbilt studying music ed, I randomly reached out to a music director that was at the church directly across from Vanderbilt. I was like, this is perfect. I can literally walk there. And I asked if he had any openings for like a music intern. And he did. And so I got the job, and that was where I met Carla. I can't remember if you were in Sanctuary Choir with me or Chancel Choir.
Chancel, yep.
But I was there for a year. Then I got a teaching job. And so I ended up moving to Murfreesboro after that. It was a really fun job. I learned so much, and it was great.
We even got to run the show one Sunday, which was really fun. Which, how did they leave us in charge for a week?
Honestly, I questioned that decision, but
So it's interesting because you have a degree in music ed, and Allison, you were in the music industry. Then eventually, what's your role now?
Yeah, my role now is I'm Senior Director of Corporate Partnerships. So I sell sponsorships and connect brands. But my degree is actually in photography. So figure out that riddle, right?
Okay. Well, then we're gonna like twist it even further at this point, because do you each want to talk about like what's the content on your social media platforms and why you're here today? Like, Melissa, you have a gigantic following that has absolutely nothing to do with music.
Yeah. So like I said, my degree is music ed, but I do DIY home decor.
Yep.
So honestly, still don't even know how that path became what it was. I did start my channel because when I quit my teaching job, I wanted to just run a music studio. And I was like, I'm going to need a way to get clients. So I'm going to just start posting on social media. And about like a month in, I was like, I have zero desire to post about music. Like I do it all day long. I don't want to do it as like my creative outlet. So that was why I started posting home decor, and then that kind of took off. But my main job is still running a music studio.
Okay. But you've grown a huge following.
Trying to, yeah.
It's pretty crazy. And Allison, you're still up and coming, but your content is?
It's very similar. DIY home decor. I am fixing up a colonial brick house here in Nashville. It was made in 1988, so kind of D90s-ing it, and just documenting the journey. So it kind of falls into all different sectors because I'm learning as I go.
Yeah. So I joked when I was explaining to other people like who I was interviewing today. I'm like, I'm kind of interviewing two accidental influencers, right?
Honestly, yeah.
Because like I'm not sure either of you really intended like that this was going to be something for you. So let's see, Melissa, you have. I looked last night. You have 155,000 followers on Instagram, 71,000 followers on TikTok. So how did that growth kind of happen once you started shifting from posting about music to?
Yeah. Well, I started just on Instagram, and this was a little bit after Reels had kind of started being a thing. And so I would mostly just post little videos. Like I did a lot of thrifting stuff. So I would go thrift and then I'd post, how I styled it. And a couple things that I started to notice as I was doing it is I would go watch really popular people and really big accounts and see what are they doing. And the thing that I noticed was that all of those really big accounts, they had a very recognizable house. And you would see a living room and be like, oh, that's Angela Rose home. Or like, oh, that's Crystal's Julie. You just knew when you saw it that was them. And so that was what I tried to do, was be like, okay, what are parts of my house that look nice that I can show over and over again and make it recognizable. And when you see that library, you go, oh, that's Melissa's library.
Yeah.
And so that's what I kind of started doing. And as the journey has kind of taken me where it is now, I've learned that a lot of people just want to learn how to do stuff. Like they don't know how to use tools, like literally just the basics. So I've kind of turned my content toward more like tutorial focused stuff. And like literally a couple days ago, I was recording about how to use a caulk gun. And I was like, this is so silly. I'm just going to post it as a story, like an Instagram story that disappears after 24 hours. And I was like, you know what? I've already made it. I'll just post it as a reel on Facebook and TikTok. And within 24 hours, it had like 1 million views on Facebook. And all these people are like, I had no idea how you do this. I've never used one of these. Like, this is so cool. So it really goes to show that sometimes you can just show like the very basics and it will still be very impactful for people.
Yeah. So it was really just kind of a shift from like trying to help explain things to potential people who are trying to do this themselves. It really kind of led to some growth.
Exactly. Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. And Allison, I followed you for a while because we know each other, right? But I've noticed like recently, like you're really starting to kind of pick up a little bit. Did you change anything content-wise that kind of led to the shift a little bit?
Not really. I mean, it's so funny, the things that you work so hard on that you think like, oh, this is the one. It's just crickets sometimes. And then something that you weren't even going to post, like Melissa just said, is the one that just blows up and takes off. So I wish I had some secret strategy to share. But I think it's all about consistent quality content. I'm always going back and each week looking at what I've done and looking at how many views things have gotten, how many shares. Do my followers want to see this content? This past week, I posted a recipe and I was like, you know what? I think this is for stories moving forward. Like, I don't think this lives on the grid anymore. So it's just, really being open and not taking it personal if things don't work and being ready to be nimble. So I've just kind of constantly been moving and shaking through it.
Yeah. One of the things that I've noticed since I've been following you is the estate sales.
Yeah.
I love watching your estate sale videos. Do you want to explain like what those are and like, are you seeing success with those?
I am. I'm seeing a little bit too much success because I can't like go buy a whole bunch of stuff every weekend. And it was never the intention. I just kind of fell into it. I inherited some really beautiful vintage ornaments from both sets of grandparents recently. And I thought, how beautiful would it be to have a full vintage tree of these ornaments? But even though it looked like a lot in the boxes, when I put them all on the tree, it was like a Charlie Brown Christmas, right? So I was like, okay, I got to go find more of these. And I thought, why don't I look at estate sales? I've been trolling Facebook Marketplace, and they're so expensive here in Nashville. So I went to an estate sale just randomly because I saw a picture of these ornaments, and I wound up buying all of this stuff. Like, there was this amazing rug. I got artwork, oil paintings for like $100. And so that kind of got me hooked. And I just thought, well, I need to check out estate sales. I need to keep doing this. And I started posting content about it, and people were just eating it up. So I started making it, since it's something I'm genuinely doing, I just thought, I'm going to start making estate sale content in addition to fixing up my house.
Okay.
And now I have a lot of ornaments.
And now you do have a lot of ornaments. They're gorgeous. So that's interesting because, like, how much does seeing successive content change kind of like, oh, okay, like you're saying, like, this is going to live in my stories now versus living in my reels? Like, how much does the way that you're seeing those things impact the way that you make decisions moving forward?
For me right now, heavily, because I'm trying to grow. I'm still a really small account, and there's nothing worse than working really hard on something and no one's seeing it. And there's nothing you can do about it. So I am looking at that stuff closely, and it does dictate kind of what I'm planning and putting out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that's, like you were saying earlier, being nimble. Like, that's really the name of the game. You have to be able to look at the insights and not take it personally. Like you said, like, there'll be something that you think, this is the one. Like, this is going to make me be big. And then it totally doesn't.
Yeah.
You know? And so I've discovered that anytime I put my husband on my channel, it blows up. It's so frustrating. Like, there'll be a video of him sitting in my car for 5 seconds. It'll get like 1 million views. I'm like, this is so unfair. You know what I mean? But you have to just like adapt and kind of roll with the punches.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought up your husband because he's now like doing content with you.
Yeah.
Like, that's his job now?
Yes. He started working with me full time last April. And so our big project that took from April till about October was we were flipping a camper van. I'm sure you guys saw the content. And it's actually really interesting because I, again, thought this is going to be big. Everyone's going to love it. Oh my gosh, no. Every time I posted a van reel, it would just absolutely bomb.
Oh, wow.
And I think, and you can't take it personally, but people that follow me for home decor and thrifting, they don't want to see a camper van. And that's totally okay. And so we pivoted. We started a YouTube channel just for that. And that's where that content kind of lives now. So it's like two separate little worlds for us.
Okay. But yeah, that's his full-time job now, is creating content online.
Yeah.
And you're still running the music studio, but is this like almost a full-time job for you doing the content?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't done my taxes for 2024 yet, but I would say that I do think I made more content creating than I did from my music studio last year.
Fascinating.
It's kind of like feast or famine a little bit. Like, there'll be some months that are amazing and then some that are kind of like pennies, but there's definitely a lot of money to be made from content creation. And that's one of the reasons that I took it from like the hobby stage into the, you know, seeing it more serious stage.
Can we talk about like the state of social media and cringe a little bit right now? Because one of you is making your livelihood on social media. One of you, you're trying to, right? Like, so with everything going on right now, how do you navigate those ebbs and flows with things?
I will say one thing is you have to, and I think as creatives and entrepreneurs, we're probably all like this, but you have to keep your hands in a lot of little buckets. Like, especially with everything that went down with TikTok this year, I think a lot of people learned, oh, I can't make that. If I'm a content creator, I can't make TikTok the only thing, because if it goes away, there goes my whole income. And so there's so much different ways you can make money from content. Like, you can make money just from actually posting and the platforms paying you. You can do it with affiliates. You could do it with brand partnerships. So there's a lot of different ways. And I think kind of diversifying is the best way. Especially as someone who works for yourself, it can be a little bit terrifying to be like, if I don't make anything next month, how am I going to pay my mortgage? You know,
right?
That can be a little scary.
Yeah.
And to piggyback on that, I think, you know, there's the concept of the social media channels. We're renters there. We don't own that. So having I think it's really important for anyone that wants to do this for a full-time income eventually. It's important to own some channels, whether it's just a newsletter or a website or both. I think that that's really important. Like you said, diversifying, but also putting some of that into a channel that you own.
Yeah, I was going to ask you both about that because I've noticed recently that like you've both started mentioning your websites a little bit more, right? And I know that that's intentional, right? So when did you have that moment of like, oh, I need to like actually like invest more in the places where I own, right?
Yeah, my website, I launched everything at the same time. So I did a website and my Instagram page. I started from zero. I was my first follower.
When was this? What year was that?
2023. I'm just a little ways into this whole journey, but I launched both at the same time for that exact reason. I wanted to have something that was mine. And really promoting the website, I'm just trying to figure out the best way to do that. I feel like we get dinged if we're taking people off the platform too much.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to find this delicate balance. Really, I'm utilizing Pinterest to really drive people to the website. I found that to be more successful. When I look at my metrics weekly, it's like 60 people from Instagram went to my website. And I was like, this is just peanuts. So, yeah.
It's hard because like, you're right. Like the platforms, you know, we talk about the zero-click world. The platforms don't want you to drive people away from the platform. They want you to stay there, which is why people have started sharing links and comments, because it's a way to like the post keeps you there and then you share the link in the comment. So it's frustrating, right? Because like you're saying, like your metrics aren't very great on your website, but you're trying to drive people there, and it's just frustrating living in social media these days. You've been working actively on your website.
Yeah, I only launched mine in about August. And I will say, shout out to my mom. She's like my right-hand woman with my blog. She's a computer programmer. So she like basically made the whole website for me. And she actually still, like every week we have a meeting where we sit down and like go over stuff. She's the best. But it's exactly like you said. I can see how many people click on the blog from my Instagram stories, and it's a humbling moment. I'll say that. Like I think I shared a tutorial last week, and I think I got literally 2 clicks. I was like, "You guys asked for this tutorial. Why aren't you clicking?" You know.
Right.
But my goal eventually is hopefully to monetize the website and have ads on it. I don't think I have enough hits at this point.
Yeah.
But I have been trying, like you said, with Pinterest, getting more hits from there, and websites is just a whole thing that I don't know about. So
yeah, that's a drive back, right? Like this is funny because I'm sitting here talking to the two of you, and it's like this is stuff that we did back in the day. You started as the blog and then went to social media. Now we're all going back. Now we're going back to websites. But the Pinterest thing is fascinating to me because I went to a conference essentially for mommy bloggers and influencers that was held here in Nashville in 2024. And I went to a workshop that was specifically about blogging, but the entire workshop ended up being about Pinterest because of how bloggers have kind of given up on traditional search and have said that no, like the people that like are trying to consume this kind of content, like they're going to Pinterest to look for this kind of stuff. So as you're trying to grow your Pinterest, have you started to notice that like any traction there at all? Or
Oh yeah, to be perfectly honest, I don't have that many followers on Pinterest. I have like 25 followers, but the traffic from my website is all Pinterest.
Wow.
It is Pinterest. And then I'm finally, after over a year, I'm finally starting to see some ranking on Google for certain posts. But it's Pinterest is first. As long as I keep, the evil web, I keep posting consistently. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk about the churn, right?
Yeah.
Because I'll ask this to both of you, like how far in advance are you thinking? Or is this kind of we're still just kind of posting, trying to get things built? Or do you have a plan of like, here's what I'm going to do for the next week, for the next month?
I do. I sit down and I plan out the next month. To be clear, I'm not posting every day on Instagram right now.
Yeah.
4 days is my goal in feed, but then every day in story. And I'm planning out my grid posts because I want to make sure I'm diversifying because I am doing home decor, I am doing estate sales, I am doing DIY. I don't want a month where it's all DIY because then people are going to be upset the next month when I go to estate sales and start showing that content. So I sit down, go through that. Same with sponsorships. Like I don't want to have 4 sponsored posts in a row because that's going to get me in hot water with the algorithm. So
Right.
I want to space those out as well. So that just gives me a bird's eye view. And then I go down from there and I say, okay, for this week, we have this content. What do I have to do? Like I have to write this blog post. I have to make these Pinterest pins. I have to do these keywords, these captions, this filming. And I kind of have a day where I'm doing each thing and I batch it.
Okay. Batching is smart. Yeah.
You're my hero. I do absolutely none of that. I really wish I did. It's not my personality, but I feel like if I was like that, it would change everything. I have a list of ideas going at all times, but pretty much the day of, I'm like, all right, what am I going to post today?
It seems to be really working for you. So
I will say that there was a while there where I was posting like 6 or 7 days a week, and starting it in January, especially with the trial reel thing that has come out, I've been posting a lot less. I've been posting like 3 to 4 times a week, and anything that I have that I'm like, this is okay, I'll just do it as a trial reel and see how it goes. Because it's like we've talked about several times already. A lot of times those things that you're like, this throwaway content, should I even post it, is what goes viral. So you don't want to like not post it. So then I'll post it as the trial reel and be like, we'll see.
What other trial reels are interesting? I haven't played around with those yet, but like, are there other new things? Because Instagram's been rolling out all kinds of stuff lately. Like, what have you found that's like working for you?
I love they rolled out a new feature somewhat recently about, there used to just be trending audio, but now there's audio that your followers like or that people you're following are using. And I really like going over there because normally in trending audio, there's a lot of hip hop in there, and that just doesn't fit what I'm posting.
Right.
Yeah. A lot of Bad Bunny.
Yeah.
Not our vibe, really.
Followers would be like, what? So that's been really helpful for me.
There's the trial reels. They've changed the size of the grid, which I am all for, because as a home decor person, a square is just not enough space to like get your whole house. So I actually think that's a great thing.
Oh, text on stories, like editing, like in reels. Like now we can use the text in the Instagram app. That's new.
And they have that new edits app too, which I have not tried.
I haven't either.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about, for anybody that might, be thinking about trying a side hustle to be able to start building their own accounts. You've mentioned it a couple of times here, brand deals, sponsorships, that kind of stuff. What does that world look like for both of you? Like, how do you navigate that? Did you have to approach the brand, or did the brand come to you? Or how does that work for both of your accounts at different sizes?
I did it myself for about a year, and then we eventually hired a company that does it for us now.
Okay.
But it is absolutely like the Wild West trying to get brand deals. It's very frustrating. I would say it's probably about 50-50 of us approaching people and people approaching us. And some of the best brands to work with are the ones that understand and give you kind of like free reign. So like, for example, Rifle Paper Company is probably my favorite brand to work with, because they're just like, yep, what do you want? Here you go. Do whatever you want with it. And then there'll be brands that are like, can you take a screen recording of every single analytic and every single link click you've ever gotten and send it to me? And then they want 75 edits and, stuff like that. So I think early on in that journey, starting to determine which brands are just not worth working with. Because if you get a few of those, I think it will completely turn you off of brand deals and content creation, to be honest. But reaching out to brands in DMs is a great way to do it. And then a lot of them have emails online, so you can just find their email and reach out to them that way.
Did you find that some of them required like to have a certain like follower count or engagement count or anything like that?
I think they do. I know like from the agency we work with, for example, we recently had a brand deal with a company, and they told the agency that they were only interested in working with people over 100,000. But I have never had them personally tell me anything like that. So I think maybe since it was like an agency, they were willing to be a little bit more transparent.
Yeah.
But it seems like a lot of them do have very specific metrics. And there's been companies that I've worked with, like there was a makeup company I worked with that after 2 rounds, they were like, you're not selling enough, so we're done working with you. And that's understandable. I'm a home decor page, so I get it. That it wasn't the right fit kind of thing.
Right. How about for you, Liz? Your account you're growing, but you're under 10,000 followers right now. So what does that look like for you?
It's been really great. I think it can be intimidating for creators to reach out to brands. That's what I do for a living, so I'm not afraid. And I get rejected literally every day for a living. So I'm kind of expecting it. It's been a mix. I reach out to brands. I stay very specific in my lane. I would love to work with makeup companies or, hey, Madewell, like, let's work together. But that's not what I'm showing my followers. So I don't really think it would translate at this stage in my journey. So I'm really focused on what brands do I want to work with for my project, or what bedding do I want, or, what wallpaper, what paint. And then I start just going down those avenues. And like Melissa said, it's all for me, it's been DMs, but trying to get an email to take it off Instagram, put it in email. I do my pitch. I create a vision board sometimes. I send my media kit. This is what I'm thinking. Like, let's talk. Let's get on a call. And it's really been going quite well. Not a ton of cash deals right now, but some. And for a small account, I'm thrilled with that.
Yeah, that's great.
And then there's the affiliate side of the business as well, which is a different pot of income. So,
do you find success with affiliate?
I do. I mean, I'm not quitting my day job or anything,
Right.
but it's a nice little pot of side money. And yeah, it's been good.
Good. Do you use affiliates as well?
Yeah, affiliate is probably one of the larger sections of our income from content creation. I will say that the best platforms that I found for affiliate is actually Facebook. Which is very surprising.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of content creators don't want to be on Facebook because people are super mean on there, which is true. But one thing Facebook does that Instagram and TikTok do not do is they allow you to put links in the reel. Okay. And so pretty much every single reel that I post, I just throw a link in there. I'm like, here's this one random thing that was in the video. And I mean, I've had like a day where I'll post it, and then the next day I'll have like made $900 from one reel, which is absolutely bonkers.
Yeah.
Now, that's like not a normal day, obviously. And then I think it's also because a lot of them are, it's that demographic that's on Facebook is the boomer demographic, and they have a lot of money. A lot of them are retired, and it's not like TikTok where everyone's 21 and has no money. So I think that's definitely an underutilized platform for creators, especially in our field where we're selling home decor. There's a lot of money to be made there.
Yeah. Interesting.
For sure.
Allison, you just mentioned media kit, and so I want to go back to that. What do you include in your media kit when you're setting out?
Yeah, it's your portfolio of work, right? So it's my best photos of my home. It's a snapshot of my demographic. Who's in my account? Is it women? Is it men? What are their ages? What countries? I've been trending in the UK lately.
That's fun.
It's kind of, but not really. If a brand is based here, they're like, oh, you don't have enough people in the US. I haven't gotten that yet, but I've heard stories of people with a reel going viral in another country, and then it's impacting their brand.
That happened to me.
We need to talk about
keep
that.
going.
But it's it's my demographics, my stats, my Instagram stats, and then my website stats, and then my rates are on the second page. So what I offer, what I'm willing to do, and then how much I charge for that.
Okay, cool. Go back to your story.
This is so random. I had a reel that went viral in the Middle East, and I didn't even notice it until because I don't really check. There's a tab on your notifications that's like followers, and you can see everyone's name that's following you. I noticed that all of the people that were following me were not in the US, and I could start to go into my insights, and it was like 75% US following, 74% US following, 73%. And every day it would go down a little bit. And it got to the point where I actually had to delete the reel because I think at the lowest it got down to 60 or 50% US following. And that's a really big red flag for brands because there was another makeup company that wanted to work with me, and they're like, we're looking for 75% US following. So sorry.
Wow. And
so it's taken me a while since then to build back up. And it's not that I don't want followers that are in other countries. That's totally fine. It's just that that's a huge red flag for brands, unfortunately.
Do you have a media kit as well?
I do. Pretty much exactly what you
Same
said.
thing.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So what's the future for both of you? Where do you see this going? Where what are your goals? Let's say within the next year, where are you trying to get with your content?
I mean, for me, I'm just keeping a really open mind. Yes, there's some vanity numbers I want to hit sooner rather than later, but I'm also trying to enjoy the journey because those numbers are going to come with their own bag of tricks that I don't even know about right now. I mean, I've loved being able to work with brands and integrate them into my home in a really authentic way, and that helps me fix up my house without spending all of my money from my day job in the house. So that's been really nice. I just would love to continue that.
Nice.
same thing, kind of like you said, there are obviously some like number goals that I have in mind, but I think the biggest thing that Kyle and I are trying to do is lean more towards passive income so that you don't have to post like every single day. And so one of the things that I have figured out with that is back to affiliate. I used to rely just on my Instagram stories for affiliates. And so every day I would be posting a link to an outfit or a link to some random thing. And, they'd be hit or miss. And then once I discovered that Facebook is such a great platform for affiliates because reels live on for like weeks and weeks and weeks, that you can post a reel one day and you're still getting that affiliate income for days and days and weeks. And then the website we're trying to grow, putting a lot of tutorials on there so that people can be like, how do I make a frame TV? And then, we're getting website hits. Something else we're trying to do this year is start to actually sell some plans. So like wood building type plans, and maybe on Etsy or on our website. And then the next big goal is to try and do some product lines with brands, which that's obviously they want people to have way bigger following than I have to do that. Yeah. But that would be a really great way to, target selling some line with your name on it and you're making money. I mean, that's the goal. Yeah, that's the dream really right there.
Awesome. So shall we shift gears entirely here and talk about some things here in Nashville?
Yeah.
Okay. Who is a local creator or creative that we should all be following?
Well, another creator here in Nashville that's in our same niche is our friend Hannah, Hannah Weekly Home.
Yeah.
So we'll give her a plug and check her out.
Cool.
Yeah, we love Hannah.
Love Hannah. Okay. Question number 2. What is a hidden gem in Nashville or Middle Tennessee that we as locals tend to take for granted?
I have one, but I'm afraid to give it up because out where I live in Kingston Springs, which is West Nashville. A few years ago, this group of women started this little thing. The one woman is from England, and it's called the Yorkshire Deli. And it is the most adorable little thing. It's like just a little shack. And then inside you go and there's all of these English teapots, and they do authentic English food. I mean, fully dressed scones, the baked goods, the breads. I mean, there's quiches. The quiche crust is to die for.
Okay, I know where I'm going as soon as I leave here.
It's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And then you can also book a tea service, which is a true delight. You get a full thing of tea, and then this 3-tiered stand with like little sandwiches with the crust cut off, the scones. I mean, it's to die for.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
I am putting that on my list right now to do that some weekend.
I mean, I don't know if these are hidden gems, but the 2 places that I would miss if I moved away from here, one is McKay's used books. And I will say the used books, they've gotten a little overpriced, but the records, oh my gosh, like you could search through the vinyls for like days. They have so many. And then the other is Mas Tacos Por Favor, which is my favorite Mexican place.
And that's one of the things, like having been here for a long time, like some of like the old hidden gems that we all loved are gone now, which is very sad. But yeah,
12 South is like not at all what it used to be, and it's
same with Hillsborough Village too. There's a lot of shops. There used to be this little coffee shop there that I loved. They had great biscotti
on the corner.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Last question: what is your favorite coffee order, and where do you want to order it from?
I am so boring. I'm a vanilla latte girl, and
Same.
I really don't go out for coffee. Like I love the ritual of making it at home. I grind my own beans.
Nice.
The lavender latte at the Well. The Well is my favorite coffee shop, but I also do love a mocha, so I'll take either one.
Awesome. Okay, so where can people find you online?
Yeah, my website, AllisonSkiff.com, ALLISONSKIFF.com. And then to keep things simple, that's my Instagram handle as well, all spelled out.
Nice.
And mine, everything is Melissa Ashley Meares, except for our YouTube is Melissa and Kyle, because that is our travel page.
Awesome. Melissa and Allison, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening. Get involved and stay connected with our creative community at craftcontentnashville.org. You can join our conversations on Instagram, Threads, and LinkedIn. And if you enjoyed this content, please subscribe or follow, rate and review, and of course, share Artisanal Insights wherever you get your audio content. Now go forth and craft content. We'll talk with you again soon.